even as I was discussing with you while we were talking on Instagram as well, I've noticed this beautiful shift in culture of how creative professions have been perceived now in India specifically. A lot of parents have opened themselves up to the
Totally.
understanding that this is a viable career choice in general.
Totally.
Since you've been seeing the animation side of things, and I think one of the biggest explosions happening in the field of 2D animation coming into, this mainstream industry happened with the onset of COVID as well,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everything went online. A lot more TV shows started coming in. So I
Right.
started seeing a lot of fellow colleagues started working on title sequences for different
Right.
TV projects. So how was that experience for you? Because you worked on quite a few interesting projects
Right.
recently,
Right.
even with your music video collaboration with Divine.
Right.
So how,
Right.
how has those experiences been like? How do you guys get in contact? Do you directly communicate with the specific artist or
Right.
through a studio? How has that process been for you?
I think social media has a lot to play on that front.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just the mere discovery of work
Right.
and just looking for fresh products. There was a time when we used to go to Pinterest, or like we still do. I
Right.
still love
Of
Pinterest,
course.
and there are plenty of others websites like that for inspiration. But there's still, like, then you go to YouTube, then you go to Vimeo, all that for inspiration. I think Instagram and like other social media channels are used in such a way to find new, more fresh work
Of course.
as inspiration. So, and also it provides you a platform to just connect on a level with
Right.
these kinds of
Right.
artists from all over the world. Like you can follow on the same app, you can follow Beyonce, and you can
Mm-hmm.
follow your favorite artist.
Of course.
So it creates a big, like, bubble of sorts, and then like, which is not going to burst anytime soon, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, the entire world believes in it. uh,
Right.
so so what it provides is like a safe space for people to put out their work, and also other people to discover work and just reach out. It's
Right.
very easy for people to reach out. I remember, uh like, also, like, when we were growing up, there was a time when we were growing at a time where we were still forced to think about engineering or medical as an option. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure our next generation will be fighting for who's going to be who's going to be an artist.
Right.
And to break out of the plug, I think somebody will say that I want to be a doctor or something
Right.
like that. So in that way, I think we have become very liberated and open as a society,
Uh-huh.
as a community, that people are more open to taking up different kinds of like career paths.
Right.
And also the fact that w- immediately when they love what they do, that's making them love what they do. And immediately
Mm-hmm.
when you love what you do, your work is coming out as fresh, and it's very
Of
easy
course.
for you to get discovered, rather than putting up, like, making a CV and putting a
Mm-hmm.
portfolio link and sending to different people at one
Right.
point of time. So that becomes like a virtual portfolio of sorts.
Of course.
uh, and definitely I would say, in all these coming years, I think from 2010,
Mm-hmm.
I think this another shift in generational uh, work or career paths
Right.
has started happening, where the industry is moving towards a more, like, okay, now we know what we do. We have already set up the industry. We have the people around us who know their shit. uh, and the industry is huge. uh,
Right.
and we also have our stories in place that we want to talk about. Now let's look inside of us and, like,
Right.
start churning out things by our own. I think that shift in mentality has happened over the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it would be a lie to say, like, just in these 10 years this has been a struggle,
Of
and this has
course.
been a process. It's been a process for, like, all the stalwarts in the industry, of any
Mm-hmm.
industry, like games, like art, whatever, animation. They're all trying to do the same thing,
Of course.
is put in a process and make a huge shift in the mindset of people, is what they're
Right.
trying to do. That's why we have reached where we are. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
we have only to thank like the previous generation, people who have been at it all their life. So definitely, then there has been change and there's been a shift in the mindset of people, that acha,
Right.
I have stories to tell, and I will be a storyteller. The
Right.
word storyteller, while I was growing up, the word storyteller never occurred to me. Like
Hmm.
nobody around me said storyteller until like
Right.
2015
Right.
or
Let
2000.
alone visual storytelling, just the
Yeah,
concept of storytelling. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. The concept of storytelling as a word has really blown up right
Hmm.
now. It's on everybody's mouth. Uh, from people big or small or whatever, people are talking about storytelling as a subject, which is
Right.
incredible. This is what we wanted for years to come. uh, so immediately when there is the people who are learning now or starting to get into this industry now have a immediate head start. They all have
Hmm.
an understanding and information about abhi tak kya kya hua hai, and they
Right.
take it forward and say ki acha, now we'll bring this to the table. So it
Right.
becomes even more accessible, which
Hmm.
is great for us as an industry. I feel. So for me, I think 2018 I was juggling my like I was very happy with the job I was doing.
Hmm.
I was satisfied, but there was a point I was paying my bills. I was staying in Bombay. I was to come back home. I was to cook. I was to like feed myself, and I was to
Right.
relax with my friends. It was a very comfortable few like years.
Hmm.
After that, I think I started feeling a little bit of a void in terms of the creative aspect of satisfaction part of it,
Right.
in terms of work, because obviously you're working on a role that allows you to work on only certain parts of things.
Hmm.
And but what about the other parts? What about the extra energy that you have left at the end of the day? Do you spend it on like just living life and just relaxing? Because it gets a little boring after a point. So what do you do with that excess energy or that that need for creative satisfaction? So that is when I started working on the like on my own stuff.
Hmm.
uh, and when I was putting out my own stuff, I remember 2018, 2019, I was working side by side and putting out my own stuff on Instagram. And
Right.
this was when uh, there's this guy, the director Akash Bhatia.
Hmm.
He reached out to me through a friend uh, who had given my name because he had seen my work on Instagram or
Right.
something like that. And he basically, then we spoke about a potential collaboration on like a film about this
Right.
woman runner, and there is needs to be like an animated title sequence and all that.
Hmm.
We get to this was back when like there was no foundation of the film Loop Lapeta
Right.
also. But then a few months passed by, and I put out. Then COVID happened.
Hmm.
Uh, like in 2020, early beginning, COVID happened, and I started making this series, Corona, which is like a six-part short animated series of like different stuff that I'm experiencing during that time. And that really took off because I think the world had something to chew on together
Right.
at that time and can relate to from person to person together. So so that time I really found that my voice is heard.
Hmm.
It, it and whatever I'm doing is like ठीक है, मतलब I'm liking this process of juggling between work and my personal work and all that.
Right.
After that, I think after a few months into the COVID 2020, I and Akash Bhatia got into a conversation again about this potential collaboration for a music video, which is uh, like a collaboration of like live action and animation, which is Chitta.
Hmm.
And as soon as that happened, like the next few months, like we got like we were on board, and like I
Hmm.
just called up a few of my friends and made it like a small team, and we
Right.
started working like 40 days straight, and like continuously working day and night just to make that happen. The moment it happened, uh, people really enjoyed it because it was such a unique collaboration, and thanks to the madman Akash Bhatia and his unique
Hmm.
vision, like it really really felt like we brought something new to the table.
Right.
And especially and I think I do believe that it wouldn't have happened if there was like no lockdown.
Right.
uh, probably it wouldn't occur to people that,
Mhm.
shallow, let's make something out of this. Let's work in animation or something like that. It wouldn't have occurred to people because they're all like live action filmmakers. They'll all
Right.
go out and shoot. If they're not allowed to shoot, how do they? What do they do about their excess energy? So they thought about like animation as a tool to use during that time, because then you'll be working separately. Everything, all the work was happening online. They
Mhm.
shot whatever they shot in a very like in some part of Delhi where like there
Mhm.
was no person like around, whatever. They found a sweet spot and they shot there. So whatever happened, it happened out. I think Chitta was born out of necessities, and
Mhm.
then after that, it felt like we brought something new to the table. From there started, I felt like there was like, then Divine reached out,
Right.
and he wanted to make something in terms of animated music video, and I
And
would
word travels fast in this industry, as we've all realized. You
totally,
work with one crew, someone from that team will reach out
totally,
to another group of people working on
totally,
something else, and your name goes there.
totally. And I think the idea of good work begets good work
Of
is
course.
like extremely prevalent. So no matter how like whatever the project is, you have to be give your best at it, so that like that takes off, that gets you the next project or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
It really does work like that. So I take it as an opportunity for every project to like just have loads of fun and like put out everything I want into it. So yeah, from there Divine happened, and he was also on board with the idea of making an animation music video. That also happened, and then I could feel like there was like a process in
Right.
place, and also the fact that artists outside who probably wouldn't have considered
Mhm.
animation as a tool of like actual as a business proposition, because everybody loves animation. If you ask
Right.
any random layman that do you enjoy animation, you'll
Right.
show him piece of animation, they'll love it.
Yeah.
But if you ask for money for it, if you say like would you like to pay for it, most of them wouldn't. So as a business proposition, it was very, I was very happy to see that people are coming forth and taking animation into
Mhm.
consideration while making something
Right.
uh, as a production. So my idea back then was only that whatever work I put out, I'm like the spokesperson of what I'm doing. My work has to be like super up there, so that people at least get inspired to maybe think about something they'd want to do,
Right.
or make it a part of in their productions as well.
Right.
So then I got to work on like then Loop Lapeta happened. So and after that a bunch of a few other work that happened, but the fact was only for me to push the what animation can be, what is expected of animation in an Indian community,
Mhm.
or in Indian production, just to push the boundaries of that to as much extent as possible, and that is going to be my work for the rest of my life.